I'm requesting, just as you had stated, let's not make some snap judgments, and we postpone voting on this proposed budget and go back to the drawing board. Since we have a new county judge coming in who's duly elected, I'd appreciate for that person to have the opportunity to make the decisions that are going to drastically change our county forever. I've been watching a lot of the discussions, and I attended the meeting the other night. I was quite alarmed by the number of times the numbers changed. I also reached out to my commissioner, and I requested that they not vote in favor of the proposed budget and tax rate. The response I got back was that my appraised value went down. Well, I took the opportunity to protest for the first year my appraised value. I was overpaying for many years, and that's why my value went down. I wrote back that I was very disappointed with that response. And then I got back, he didn't understand. Well, that raised a lot of alarm bells for me, because that meant he doesn't quite understand what the no new revenue rate is. He doesn't understand that I'm not doing this, I'm not speaking just for me. I'm speaking for the other residents, the majority of your constituents who cannot afford this tax rate. Because for them, it is an increase in taxes. It's for the renters, it's for the small businesses. It's not just for me. I'm not selfish. It's a bigger picture than me. So while I do benefit with lower taxes, my taxes would be even lower if you went with the no new revenue rate. So again, I request you don't make these dramatic changes with the county administrator, and you don't make the budget. I mean, based on our population, we could have required courts. That's more important to me than a county administrator, like a drug court, mental health court. That would be more important at our population. So I appreciate your time, and good luck today.
Thank you very much. I was born and raised and graduated from this high school. I'm a conservative and a realist. Saying go kill a man of fish and feed him for a day, teach him how to fish and feed him for life. I say first you make him get a job and go and buy his own fishing boat. First you make him go. I've seen many changes. I started building business in 1979. I've seen many changes in business and government. Some good, some not so good. This budget includes everything the county spends and takes in. So my comments on several topics should be okay. Times are changing. AI is changing the world, the U.S., and this county. The need for more memory, which means data centers somewhere. But everyone here says it's not my backyard. But if they didn't make a noise, if they created more energy than they use, and recycled and reclaimed the water they use for cooling servers and chips, everyone, wherever they put it, everyone uses the service the data centers provide, currently and in the future. Do they not? Wherever they build it. Talking about AI, my dad, 91 years old, using Chat GPT. So it's here to stay. It's coming, and we need to prepare for it. These data centers, this is just one topic, but these data centers bring in lots of revenue to the cities and counties. They just gave the county $15 million for an animal shelter. Please use it widely and set aside some of the money for operating it for years to come. They just gave you the money. Don't give them any tax abatement. They're coming anyway. Muds have cost this county and cities and citizens hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees and additional services that have to be provided for. I know the citizens against Ellis County muds paid over $80,000 in legal fees to fight the Shanker Road mud. Unfortunately, we were only one of the few in the state of Texas that got the application denied. I appreciate how the county has supported us in fighting the muds. And I understand that according to TCU, counties no longer have legal standing. Keep looking for ways to keep quality developments coming to the county by possibly implementing some cost-saving guidelines that may make lives more affordable without the high density. The sheriff's office should be 100% funded to keep the citizens safe. The budget to the jail should be cut to the bone, but still must keep the jailers safe. The inmates' medical is better than most here and should be cut. It's unfortunate the county has to, and I'm used to unfunded mandate, the county has to spend money on these unfunded mandates implemented by the state and fed, but keep cutting. The county is growing rapidly and it's easier to implement positive administrative changes for the future while it's small, when it's small and when it's bigger and too late. The budget office needs to use AI and I'd like to see a Doge person be included in that office for eliminating wasteful spending. If a budget department costs $500,000 in salaries and overhead and saves you $1 million, it's still a cost savings of $500,000, so it's worth it. I don't like to pay property taxes either. It's like paying taxes for unrealized gains year after year. I file them every year, but until the state does away with them and counties are able to fund county government services a different route, please spend our money wisely and efficiently according to this budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
Higher than the break-even rate. We discussed some things where you can see that that money can be used. That's great. On one hand, you've also indicated you've brought in more money over the years than we really justified for. So just take that into consideration. I've given a handout to the clerk for you to look at, a little bit more detail.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be sure to share that with you.
Okay, great. I'm just going to go over two things real quick. Page 31 and 162 of the budget. There's a revenue line item called miscellaneous reimbursements. It jumps from $151,000 to $9 million. I do believe that that was transferred straight, well, somewhere else on page 162. There's a brand new loan fund that shows $9 million transferred straight into the general budget plus $75,000 in interest. It looks like it was counted as income instead of debt, so if you could just kind of look at that, maybe the auditor's office look at that. Then on page 151, the $15 million for the animal shelter. It doesn't say anywhere, there's no breakdown of what it will actually be spent on. And I think that amount of money the residents should know. And then there's just a few other things, some contracts that look like they might be duplicate from the JP districts, so you can look at those. And then also lastly, some fee accounts sitting on unused reserves that you can look at, and that's a detail in there, so thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mulder. I will be sure to share your.
All of which I have spoken to, and no one, all are opposed to an increase in taxes. We all are. This country was founded on representative government. It's our responsibility to try and keep all aspects of how you guys represent us. We need to try and be aware of what's going on. The policies and procedures that you put into place and the obligations that you choose to put us under. It's our money. We should be keeping track of what y'all are doing. It's a tough job to do. You ask for our trust, but trust is something that must be earned.
Yes.
I want you to entertain something with me for just a minute. Government accounting, to me, is so backwards. You take a budget, you tax the people to pay for your budget. But there's not a business anywhere that can function like that. I would like to propose that you take your values from Richard's office, you apply the no new revenue, Can you live within that budget? That's what we have to do. And that's what we would like for y'all to do. I know you've got, there's an increase in growth, you have the extra money that we talked about. I worked for the government, and I know there's waste. But the only solution to that, in my eyes, is strong, good management and leadership that holds every department to live within their means. Now I'd like to just talk about the new administrative position and the budget and the 5 new positions, which in the budget is around $1 million starting this coming year. The 254 counties, there's 12 that actually operate in Texas that operate with that type of governance, and there's typically the larger counties. Cameron Rader will be our next county judge. We have elected him to that position to represent us. You all know that. He's made it very clear that he opposes this new arrangement for our government. Increasing our taxes by adding close to $1 million for this additional staff, which is opposed to our incoming elected judge, and it's under an appointed judge, to me, is wrong. He is going to have to live under whatever you all decide, and that's just the way it works. But we're here on his behalf to say, please, no. Mr. Rader deserves a chance to work with the system in place, and we deserve the right to let him do that. In closing, I would ask that you, as our elected representatives, bear in mind the money you spend comes from our pockets. Given additional income from the explosive growth, please try to live within your means. Please represent us and eliminate the proposed administrative position and budget position, and try to figure out how to live within a new revenue rate. Judge Little worked hard to make us one of the lowest taxed counties in Texas, and we really like to stay there.
Yes.
I will tell you that I am in favor of this budget for the sheriff, that I would ask that y'all fund it 100%. It is very important for our county, and we increase in the numbers and population that we have adequate public service that can provide the safety we need. I'm also proud to say that I am against another level of bureaucracy to be put into the county, that I think, frankly, you've been elected to do that job, and I ask that you do that.
First thing I'd like to say is that these people don't know, I work with one of these commissioners up here. We've got about 50 emails, 20 phone calls in the last 2 days decrying a 12% budget increase, which you 5 guys know doesn't exist. Yes, you know it now. You shouldn't have posted what you did, in my opinion. You chose to. It's a free country. What was it Mark Twain said? Better to keep your mouth closed and be thought of a little and open it and the liberals out. But I'm willing to take no chances. I'm in support of both these positions. The budget officer is almost a no-brainer. It's an inevitable thing. We actually have a budget officer now in audit who's with the title for the court who make this whole situation go away. I don't think anybody here listened when Judge Ray talked about the money that's unaccounted for. This week we'll be having an audit to figure out where that money is. If we have it, then maybe we'll be able to reduce the budget substantially. I believe the actual amount of budget increase from existing properties is $800,000, not 12%. If anybody wants to call me at the office tomorrow, feel free. Thank you very much.
Well, as you can tell, emotions are running high with this year's budget. Rightly so. Those of us who were at the meeting on Saturday night, we heard, well, we have to do this. It's mandated. We've got to increase it. We've got to make all these changes. It's all just necessary. Well, what was troubling me was before I left, I overheard that there was an elected official that made a statement. There's only a handful of troublemakers that are opposing this proposed budget. And I thought to myself, well, that's horrible. What does the Constitution say? Oh, yeah, it says about troublemakers. It calls us we the people. This is the meeting Saturday. I've had 221 people sign a petition, which you all have in front of you, asking for you not to create this new administrative division that's going to increase our budget. Now, interestingly, if you'll look at the page that says page 1 and 4, you'll see toward the bottom, you'll see the signature of Dorinda Randall. Now, those of you who don't know who Dorinda Randall is, she's the current sitting chairwoman of the Republican Party of Texas. That's right, the entire state. She and her husband both signed this. More importantly, she is now a resident of Ellis County. And she is sitting in the audience as a typical tax-paying citizen listening to this Republican-based court. You know she's paying attention. And that reminds me, the Republicans, aren't we the party of less government, less regulation, and less bureaucracy? Why do we need to create a whole department for the budget? So, to Saturday night, I'm hearing, well, the county's growing and it's mandated. We've got to do it, but we're not there yet. It looks like the way the projection's going, by the year 2030, we'll definitely have to do it. Well, these people did a deep dive on trying to find that legislative code, and unfortunately we couldn't find it. So I would like, one, to propose that you postpone this until the next budget cycle, when the duly elected county judge will be able to preside over it. Also, I'd like to ask that the statute be posted. Well, I'm not hearing very good in the back of this room. So I thought I heard today that somehow $20 million got misplaced. That's a lot of change. The American Revolution began over a simple tea tax. Boston Harbor. So one little side note, there's only two things I'm asking. Wait on this till next year's budget, that the duly appointed elected judge preside over it. And two, put that public notice statutory requirement on the website. Now, there is a little personal thing that many of your constituents ask me, if I can ask, and that was simply this. In the month of September, because y'all said every Tuesday in September, you're going to be talking about the budget and trying to get it all worked out. Well, as you know, a lot of your base is Republican base. They're working people. They are not interested in a government handout. Free cheese is no interest to them.
Ms. Wallen, please, our open rules.
So I'm asking, can you change the time from 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 6 o'clock? It won't cost any money. It makes an inconvenience for you all. But nonetheless, it will give working class folks a chance to sit here as your constituents and listen to you. Thank you for your time. I want you to understand my important thing, Judge and Commissioners. I appreciate all of y'all's hard work. You couldn't pay me enough to do what y'all do.
First of all, I'm just not in favor of this budget. I'm not in favor of this tax increase. And I think that you should, if I could just say a ditto, which is what Wesley just got through saying. Let's wait till we get the new judge in so that he can participate and vote the way that he should be able to. Y'all have worked very diligently and hard, I know, to pull this together. And going to that Saturday night meeting, I found out you don't have a number. You do not have a very accurate number at all. So that's what concerns me is we don't have you're not voting on anything that we know is the budget. And then these other administrative actions that you want to put in administrative on these other employment places, I don't agree with that. You don't need that at all. Thank you very much.
The OAG's office has been contacted to look into examination and investigation in regard to that dollar amount. So now there will be another one sent to assist your budget, your audit people, for doing a full investigation. I'm a firm believer in innocent till guilty, until proven guilty. Unfortunately, in our today's society, there's a lot of dirty hands. I would love to believe that it's a good fake error. There's a hell of a lot of zeros behind that too. I have always, in the meetings that I have come to here since 2023, probably every other meeting that I have made a statement that I believe y'all spend taxpayer money like it's growing on trees. I would like to reiterate that claim today. You couldn't afford an animal shelter. You want to put in $1 million for a couple of employees. To me, that is ludicrous, and you really need to cut back on what the two gentlemen before me said. This is a bureaucracy. You don't create a bunch of departments. You cut back so you represent the people. We the people, because we are the government that employ you. And I don't feel like I'm getting a your shape right now. So thank you for your time.
Commissioners, fellow Texans, thank you for allowing me a few minutes to speak today. I'm here today to share my concerns after serving within municipal government in Midlothian, Texas for 27 years. Watching bureaucratic growth and government death that has become irreversible. I have concerns about the continued growth of the Ellis County budget, and specifically the proposal to add new administrative positions, including a budget director and a county administrator. I want to be clear. I understand that county government has responsibilities that require capable employees, and I support accountability, good financial management, and responsible leadership. My concern is whether adding more layers of administration is truly the best way to achieve those goals. Every new position comes with more than just a salary. There are benefits, retirement costs, equipment, office space, administrative support, and likely later additions of more new buildings to pay for and maintain. More importantly, creating additional management positions can create another layer between elected officials, department heads, employees, and the very citizens' choice they serve. I watched directors' salaries expand over the years that range within the $140,000 to close to $300,000 range. And I watched the averages of those climb to $180,000 to $230,000. The more directors you hire, the more concerns will arise concerning how to retain these elevated positions. They're not easily found. And the salaries that will increase year over year over year. That raises a simple question. Are we making county government more efficient, or are we simply making county government bigger? Before creating a budget director position, I believe the Commissioners Court should allow the swearing in of the newly elected county judge. This will allow a fully elected court an opportunity to clearly demonstrate that responsibilities cannot be handled effectively under the county's existing structure. What measurable problems this position will solve, and what savings or efficiencies taxpayers can reasonably expect in return. The same questions should be asked about a county administrator. If the argument is that Ellis County is growing and therefore needs more administration, then we should also ask whether growth requires more bureaucracy. And A more pertinent question, is growth projecting added costs on existing taxpayers within raising taxes? I believe it is, as I've witnessed firsthand for 27 years. I would respectfully encourage the Commissioners Court to consider internal staffing alternatives before permanently expanding the county's director-level administrative structure. Identify duplication, look for opportunities to consolidate functions, establish measurable goals before adding a new layer of management. When asked goal-oriented questions or deeper job responsibilities for those added directors at a recent meeting, I didn't have confidence that those responsibilities are fully known yet or goals are fully known yet. Taxpayers are being asked to fund these positions indefinitely. They deserve more than an explanation that the county is growing. They deserve to know exactly what problem is being solved and why the proposed solution is the most cost-effective one. I am asking the court to exercise restraint and carefully scrutinize these proposed positions and the overall growth of the county budget. We should strive for a county government that is effective, accountable, and responsible, not simply larger. And we as taxpayers must achieve those goals every day on our fixed incomes. Ellis County taxpayers work hard for their money. I believe we have an obligation to respect that money by making every position, every department, and every dollar work as efficiently as possible within a conservative budget. I will say quickly, which will save time, I've signed up for another act, and it won't take long. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about the tax rate. I would just encourage this court to look at ways to move more towards the N&R. You're sitting in a perfect spot to help to achieve some of that now, and I can't respectfully tell you any harsher you need to move in that direction.
Thank you. Mr. Rogers, do you want to back on tax?
Our founding fathers protested against taxation without representation. Today, I stand with the hardworking people of Ellis County in opposition to the proposed tax rate by our elected representatives. I urge the Commissioners Court to consider the hardworking taxpayers of Ellis County who've endured COVID, rising inflation, and the current increase in gas prices, and to lighten the burden the rising cost will. As Ronald Reagan said, the problem is not that people are taxed too little. The problem is government spends too much. I urge the Commissioners Court to table the decision for today, rework the budget to the no new revenue limit. Eliminate the two proposed departments of unelected bureaucrats and bring us back a budget below the no new revenue tax rate.
Next time I have to hear the word unfunded mandate, I expect to see every single one of you down in Austin at the 90th legislative session to help us fight. Or with one other person back there. And you can also submit Texas House public comments. You don't even have to put Austin, it's that easy. In the Constitution of the United States of America, it states we the people. This statement shows the power of government comes from the citizens, not a king or a ruler. And look to the Texas Constitution and the Texas Bill of Rights preamble. Yet some of you believe you have become in your minds kings and rulers of your precincts. And Mr. Ray, I appreciate your apologies and allowing the public to know that there's been mistakes made in regards to this process. Comments such as, you don't understand how someone looking in knows more than the ones put in place to serve knows nothing. I don't believe that any of you don't know anything, but you all know, and you need to know, that we the people, we also know something. We're not stupid. Like we're real stupid. So maybe there's ideas out there. Maybe there's thoughts. Maybe there's things that can be discussed. Because when people collaborate, that is when we the people can come to good final decision making. Dallas population 1.33 million, Collin County 1.30 million, Tarrant County 2.25 million. Those are the counties we are getting compared to in regards to this county administrator. I don't want to be any of those counties, and our population isn't even close to those counties. Approximately 15 counties in Texas have a county administrator. I'm going to up it to 20 in case I missed a couple. Out of 254. Majority of counties do not have a county administrator. Why? If it's so great and awesome, why aren't they leading? And we trying to catch up? No. The change of our representative form of government should not be done by appointed officials. And John, you're getting the slack for being the only one, but we actually have two. Matt, you're appointed as well. But rather by the elected powers that are sworn in after January 1st. Whoever, I mean, we know it's going to be Cameron, Nat, you got to write in. Let's wait and see who our elected's going to be after January 1st. And we're going to slide positions to the county administrative office and to the budget office when we have problems and we can't find some money. I think maybe everybody should just reapply for positions, and maybe we do need to look for some fresh eyes from outside. Just me. As far as the budget goes, this has been a very poorly done process, as you have explained. The constant communication that Ellis County has to be one of the lowest property tax rates is absolutely correct. We are one of the lowest rates in the state. But John, you and I know from the 86th legislative session, because we were both there, it's due to the passage of SB 3. Where the state has done continuous compression. The state has done the compression of the property tax rate at the county level, the state level, and the ISD level. It's not from any elected official's heart. It's been from our state. Because if it was up to most, I'm not saying you guys, we'd probably be at a 0.74, 0.64, 1.09. We'd be all over the place before it would be 86. It's a complicated process, but it's not a complicated process. You have the no new revenue rate and you have the voter approval rate. And the bottom line is, anything over the no new revenue rate is a property tax increase. So I encourage you all to have an evening meeting. That would be fabulous to have a budget workshop, an evening meeting. And I encourage all of you commissioners, do a town hall, get into your precincts, because I have a petition of 147 people from the city of April. And they don't know who the county commissioner is.
I've spoken about pay raises in the past. So that's why I'm here again. The majority of your constituents are not getting a 3% pay raise. Our teachers are not getting a 3% pay raise. I ask that you forego a 3% pay raise for the elected officials minus law enforcement, because that's a totally different situation. Because we are in a crunch, a money crunch. And if we're all feeling it, you should feel it too, because you represent us. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, work, and we do appreciate that, and don't take it personally, but it is your job. So I'm just going to say that I encourage you to stay with the no new rate revenue at this time. And I might add that as a government employee, this past year I've gone through 2 shutdowns. I was a former teacher, so you can imagine my insurance rate was outrageous. My husband and I farm. I didn't get a 3% increase this year, so for what it's worth. But I just wanted to bring some real numbers to you gentlemen, and wanted to ask, have you received a 962% pay raise? Maybe a 714% pay raise? Maybe a 537% pay raise? 237%, or maybe even a 193% increase? I don't think so. As I stated, I did, and these numbers that I'm giving you are from my friends and my family local in my Bardwell community in our tax ag value increase in property, right? The 962%, 11 years, this person now, in 2 years, 42%, 6% increase, and these are on ag values. And so this past year, I went and pled my case as I do every year, and 34.06%, it was 34.02% was denied. And the thing that I say, taxes do matter, ag value matters, and if you know the way that the tax rate is made, tax values are about 30% lower than the regular homestead values. And what really kind of got my attention was when I talked to the committee, they were like, you know, Mr. Board, we're taking a mandate from Austin, and we're just trying to do our job. And I realize you guys don't have anything to do with it, but I just want you to know that numbers matter, percents matter, jobs matter, people matter. And so I just encourage you all to do what's right. I married into this community. I didn't come here, and I'm blessed to say that I've been here for 30 years. I have 2 little farmers, one that graduated from Texas Tech, and he's coming back, and I want to be sure and I want to pass something down to my second generation. But when those increases, even though it's not, the 12.05% claim was wrong or misleading, an increase is not misleading. And so I encourage each and every one of you to do your job. You've heard from the community, and we just want you to do the right thing for us. We appreciate it.
So my concern is that the taxes are going up. You can sit here and say that they're not, and you talk about no new revenue, and that you're going to base your tax off of that. I've heard some say that they had a response from their commissioner. Mine has not done that, which I am very disappointed by. But the bottom line is, these corporations are coming in, they're raising up our tax base. I got 1,000 acres on my street that's about to be a farm, a solar farm, and that's going to hurt our farmers, our ranchers in our area. And if we don't do something to protect our farmers, our ranchers, our rural areas, we won't have rural areas. When you talk about taxes going up, let me give you a fun fact that right now in all of Texas, the rents, if you have rental property, your rent is going down by 20 to 26%. You talk about that. You can't get more rent. People aren't paying it, but your taxes are keep going up. So when you say you're trying to protect homesteaders and farm and ranchers, but we got to protect everybody. And then I listened to the fire marshal get his fire book new codes adopted without any question as properties are being sold and transferred in Ellis County, how much that will impact the new buyer to have to bring up the property to new code. What's the difference if you drive on asphalt or if we drive on concrete? If we built a building in 1940 and it doesn't have a sprinkler system, why would we require a new homeowner to do that? And why aren't we asking the questions? And I'll just stop there. I don't approve of the new tax. I think we ought to do what we can to reduce the tax for our people. And I don't approve of additional offices and so forth. James Buford, thank you.
I want to speak today about some facts, some realities, that I want to ask a question. I'm going to start with a quote from my favorite president, Ronald Reagan, who said, "The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government, and I'm here to help you." So, facts. On the county website, the proposed budget is a 12% tax increase. I've got a picture on my phone, I'd be happy to share it with anybody. It was verified by the authority on Texas property tax system that it is a 12% increase. Tax rate times appraisal. If the appraisal goes up, the rate must go down, and it's just basic math. It's there. The proposed budget creates offices of unelected bureaucrats with a starting annual cost of $1 million for 5 people. That never goes down. There's no state law that requires a county administrator in any size county. I did check on that. If the tax rate were 1/1000th of a cent more, it would trigger an election to pass. What are the odds? There is fat to trim. There is always fat to trim. There's a raise for the county commissioners, which just got into. Let me take that out, excuse me. The county judge, please, not anymore. Okay, so realities for this subject. We need to shrink the government, not grow the government. We need to live within our means, just like my family has had to do for years, even when times were really, really tight. People in Ellis County are struggling to live within their budget without having additional taxes placed on them. So the question, how can we lower taxes when we need so many things? So I would ask you to follow the lead of the Tarrant County judge who said, don't bring me a budget above the NNR number. They did it. They did it last year. They did it the year before, and they did it the year before that. 4 years in a row. Tarrant County, the whole Fort Worth, a large county with lots of needs, they did it for 4 years in a row. So I challenge each of you to go back to the drawing board, to not even publish this number that's way off, and follow the lead of Tarrant County. Give us an NNR proposed tax rate without increasing our bureaucracy. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Colson. Just in opposition of the creation of that extra layer, I think that would be better suited for future administration. The 3.8, some of the pain points that I see when it comes to the actual setting the rate, a lot of people, unless you take that information, that data from the appraisal district, you're not going to know by average per capita the amount of actual, you set that rate, you're not going to know the full impact of that rate unless you see it revert back to what the appraisals put. And on average, how much did the appraisals climb? So let's just say you're going to keep it, we're going to use notional numbers at 2%. And if that house evaluation is at $400,000, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and all of a sudden, because corporations come in and they buy up $90,000 per acre to build a solar farm, well, guess what the cost per acre goes up? They're going to roll that into a comparative analysis approach, cost analysis approach. So when they run comps on the cost per acre, the price per acre goes up exponentially. So when those appraisals come out, and here you are setting the effective rate, or setting that rate, and we didn't raise the rate, we did not raise the rate, but your appraisals went up. So there's got to be some way to take the data collectively and work with the appraisal district to find out because what happens is, all they know is when that rate is voted on, sometime later on past their proposed appraisals that are given time to contest it, they have no way of knowing how much taxes they're going to be paying. Obviously, yes, you are right, they are in the rears, but all they know is they get sticker prices, their taxes go up. So they're managing that pity payment with their mortgage, their insurance, everything tied to it. They get hit with the sticker prices on taxes, but all they know is they had their elected officials that champion conservatism, saying, I'm not going to raise your taxes. I don't want to raise your taxes. If I can help it, I won't do it. And essentially, what you do is, in theory, by the optics, you're broken the trust. That's what it comes down to is, we're trusting you to do the best you can. I don't believe this is the best budget this county or this team can put together. I don't believe it. So with that being said, I think I've made my time. Thank you.
I attend probably at least 90% of these commission meetings, and I try to stay up with what's going on in the county. Let me first state, I'm for the no new revenue. I think that is a key point in the time when people really are tightening their belts because they're getting hit from every direction. Y'all all know that. Y'all been hit with it, I'm sure. So, with that in mind, I agree with what was just said by Sam, that we need to tighten our budget, or we need to tighten it hard. There is the creating of two new departments, I think is one of the things that we need to eliminate from this budget. Do we need help in the budget area? Absolutely. But it needs to stay under our judge and that individual, you know, you have to allocate more money to get a qualified individual in there. And thank you, Judge. We need that audit. We need it strong. We need a forensic audit that dives deep so that we can have at least a landmark that we can put a stake in and work from. So, I suggest that each incoming individual have an audit done on his office because I know that's additional money, but mistakes do happen and they're responsible from that point on. There's a lot of people, like I said, that are hurting. I'm working with a young couple now that inherited a nice sized piece of property with barns and stuff and all on it. And they're about to lose it because they can't afford to pay taxes on it. As you've heard tonight, and I've talked to many of our JPs, that evictions are up significantly, mainly in rental property, because the taxes are going up and the rent's got to go up. So, we've got to hold the line. Now, if we had an extra $1 million lying around to create these departments, I'd rather divide it up between the DA's office and the sheriff's office to get enough personnel for the sheriff's office that we could take care of the jail, and the DA can move these cases out faster than she's able to do it now. I know y'all allocated some resources to them right now in this budget. But it's, especially in the jail, from what I hear also, it's very difficult to recruit qualified lawyers to be in the DA's office to do a good job at stuff. If we took some of that money, maybe offered a sign-up bonus and gave an incentive to bring somebody. Used to, our departments would say, people would want to come here because of the way of our life. The way of life here in Ellis County has changed significantly over the last 10 years. And so I really believe this budget needs a whole lot of massaging. I'll put it that way. I encourage you on the rate. Start with the numbers you rate. Don't start at what you think you need and then work down. Start at the no new revenue rate and go from there. Thank you, Judge.